Okay then. Hi there guys. Hope everyone's well. So just quick little sound check. Turn my light on as well so you can see me a bit easier. So guys, welcome to session 4 in the Elemental Moves series. I don't know why we called it something that I can barely pronounce. But evening, hi everybody. So this is session 4 of the Elemental Moves series. We are going to be focusing on the back. We'll be talking through some various muscle groups, some various different kind of movements that involve the back. I think this is actually quite an area that isn't understood particularly well by many people. And yeah, it's just not a really cool area to focus on, is it? I don't think people, generally speaking, know the different names of the muscles in the back. I'm going to talk to you about a few in this session. So yeah, hopefully a bit of new ground for some people. But before we get started, just a quick FYI on the kit. You are going to need, if you've got a nice selection of dumbbells, you're going to need probably a medium weight. So we're going to be doing bent over rows and things like that, so you can probably challenge yourself with a little bit extra loading for those sessions. And then we're also going to be needing a lighter set of weights. We're going to do some Y raises, focusing on the lower traps. And then also, if you got one, a long resistance band, either anchored at the floor. So for instance, I'm using a heavy set of dumbbells that I'm anchoring the band with, or if you're confident, you can use a radiator like this and just use it where the fixture goes into the wall, but only if you're confident doing that. Okay, we don't want to do some ad hoc DIY during our session. Or you can anchor it around hip height. So yeah, you could use a door handle, something like that. Or again, low down, you can use a table leg. Again, if you're confident that the table's heavy enough. Or better yet, if you've got one, guys, you can get what's called a door anchor. That's super cheap. You can get them off the well-known retailer starting with an A. And yeah, they just slip underneath your door. You close the door and it really anchors the band well. And the good thing about using a door anchor is you can also kind of do it kind of middle height and then at the top of the door. So yes, long resistance band, a medium set of dumbbells if you've got them, and then a light set of dumbbells if you've got them, or similar weights. So let's get started then, shall we? We're going to be talking about the back. So basically it's pretty much all upper body work in this session. So the intensity is not going to be insane. It's going to be one of our lighter sessions, I expect, but still nonetheless hopefully nice and challenging. So let's get ready to go then, shall we? So we're going to start actually on our feet, and we're just going to do what I call up downs, and it's literally just getting down onto the mat and back up again. So trying to do it kind of like you're doing a press up, so you're just lowering yourself down, peeling yourself back up and standing up. That is literally it. Okay, you'd be surprised how much this gets your heart rate going. Okay, so let's go down. We're going to do 10 of these, right down to the mat, peel yourself up, step up, and right back to the start. So number 2, stepping up. Number 3, coming all the way back up to the top. Number 4, don't worry if you get a little bit lightheaded doing this. 5. If you find that you get lightheaded a lot, guys, it can come down to blood pressure if you've got low blood pressure. Okay, something I get quite a lot actually, so let's just hope don't get any issues doing this. Okay, I believe that's number 6 for me. Number 7. 3 more. 8. 9. You're starting to get a little bit of a blow on. And number 10. Good. Okay, so just take a second, get your breath back, and then down onto the mat. We're just going to do some press ups. We're going to do them on our knees, so don't worry about doing full press ups. Okay, nice and light. Hopefully we're just warming up. So guys, don't stress too much about depth. With each rep, try and get a bit lower, but don't stress too much. So good press up setup. We should know this from a previous session. So come forward on your knees, so your shoulders over your wrist, looking forward about 2 or 3 feet ahead of you, and we'll encourage that chest to the ground for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Good stuff. Okay, so now just grab yourself a really, just a lightweight, just a single one. Okay, this is just part of the warm up. So what you're going to do, guys, if you've got a dumbbell or something, you grab it like this. Okay, have it resting just in front of you. And then what you're going to do, you raise it above your head right up to the top, keeping your arms straight throughout, so bring it up in an arc, up to the top. And you're just going to drop it down and behind you, and back up in the tricep extension, and then all the way back down. Okay, so this is going to get our lats going a little bit, and also our deltoids, our shoulder muscles, and our triceps. So raising up to the top, dropping behind the head, back up, and down. So nice and easy, doesn't need to be a heavy weight, we're only warming up. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice and smooth movements. 8. Try not to rush it too much. 9. One more then. 10. Good stuff. Okay, so now we've just got a couple more looseners. So just going to grab a resistance band. So as I said, you want your resistance band anchored low, or if it's anchored at mid height. So if you've got it anchored low, guys, actually both, if you've got it anchored at mid height, hip height or low, it doesn't really matter actually. All you're going to do is you're going to sort of go into a half squat like this, okay, with your resistance band, and you're just going to row into your hip like that. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we're just going to do 10 of these on each side. We've got to see some of the Zoom guys just getting set up, so I'll just pause a second in case you're just getting your resistance band ready. Okay, cool. Right, so just getting into our little half squat. Then we're going to row into past our hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keeping that shoulder down. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then just swapping the band into the other hand. Squatting, half squat again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. You can leave the resistance band there. We're going to use it a few times in this session. So now you've got it anchored, you won't have to flap around again. Down onto our knees, we're just going to start getting into the loosener exercises now, the mobility type exercises. Starting off with some T rotations. So onto all fours, and you're just going to put one hand lightly behind your head. You're going to duck it under the other elbow, and then this is an important point, keep your chest parallel to the ground, and you kind of just spin on that axis, rotating outwards, trying to raise that elbow up to the ceiling. So going under, rotating up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I swam this morning, and I can always tell doing this exercise that I've swam this morning because just that little bit like stiff and get a little bit of clicking and things like that going on. Okay, on to the other side. 1. Pull that elbow up to sitting 2. 3. 4, 5. Good. Okay. So staying on all fours now. Sorry, I was just adjusting my headset. It doesn't like me being with my head facing the floor. So still on all fours, going to do some cat-cows, so some more spinal mobility work. So what we're going to do here is just start pulling your belly button towards the floor. Bring your head back. Create a hollow in your lower back. And you should feel it pinching a little bit in your lower back. Just stay there for a second. Then the opposite movement. So now think about pulling your belly button up towards the sky. These are called cat-cows. So this is the kind of cat shape. You know, when a cat gets scared or it's trying to intimidate something, it goes up onto its like toes a little bit, watches it and rounds its back. Haven't really described that at all. We'll move on quickly. Okay, so this is 2. We're just going to do 5 of these. Belly down to the floor. This is such a satisfying one. After a long day of sitting down. Really, so take the opportunity to really kind of sink into it. Really arch your back and then pull your belly button right up to the sky. I'm just going to do one more. Right up to the sky. Pull your belly right up to, and just take it, leave it there for a sec, and then release. Okay, good. Well done. Okay, so just a couple more to do. First one, you want to turn to face the wall. If you've got a chair or something nearby, you can use that as an alternative. But you're going to put your hands against the wall, and I can clearly see where I've done this before. Lovely little hand marks. Okay, and then just sit back onto my heels and my arms, and you should feel this. If you're just feeling it in the backs of your shoulders, you need to stretch those shoulders, loosen off those shoulders. You should start to feel it getting into your lats, which is down here, muscle group that I'll be talking about a little bit shortly. So dropping your head in between, stretching the backs of the shoulders and the lats. Come up and again push your hips into the wall, and it'll feel a little bit like the cat-cow. Bring your head back, push your belly into the wall, dropping back again, and head between the arms. Number 2, and just slowly transitioning between those 2 points. It's always really good, particularly if you're doing a lot of back work, but just to be honest, when you're doing strength training generally, spend a bit of time loosening off your back. Okay? If you've been sat down a lot beforehand as well, it'll be stiff as a board. Couple more then, guys. And anybody that's had regular back issues will know it can be, alongside your hamstrings, one of the first areas to ping, to go, to injure when you're doing strength training. Okay, last one. Good, and then on to my favourite ever mobility exercise. Lying on our front into the crucifix position, you may well hear some ungodly sounds. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to draw your heel, one heel up on one side to 90 degrees, and then this heel, so my right heel, is going to go to my left hand, and keep my shoulders and my chest pinned to the floor, like that. Oh yeah, lovely little click. Okay, then over to the other side. So we do 10 of these total, so 5 to each side. Just smoothly transitioning, going a little bit further each time. If you struggle to kind of tap your toe on the floor on the other side as you bring it round, you might need to do a bit of mobility work. Totally lost count of how many I've done. I was just enjoying this. I think we've got 4 more. Okay, 2 more. Let's go a little bit further each time. Another really satisfying one if you've been sat down all day. Good. Okay, so that's our kind of mobility exercises. We've just got the final little looseners. We haven't really warmed up our legs too much. But let's do some leg swings. Your hamstrings, your lower, and the muscles through your lower back are all pretty much kind of interconnected. So you always want to make sure your hamstring's nice and loose while you do anything really. So just 10 leg swings forward and back. And on to the other side. you're a regular for these sessions, you know the drill by now. It's always good to have a semblance of repetition in sessions, so you can have at least a moment where you can kind of switch off and go into autopilot. Okay, so once you've done 10 forward and backwards, I'm going to do it facing the camera. Best if you do it with your hands on the wall for balance. But you're just going to start to swing your legs across your body and then out to the side, kicking out a little bit further each time. It's just going to open up your hips a touch. So really kick out to the side, a little bit higher each time. 10 on each side. Good guys. Okay, and then final ones, arm swings going forwards. Bring your arms in close to your ears. So you're going to do 10 forwards and then 10 backwards. Just remember, if you hit the ceiling, then you can actually do this on your knees. Okay, and then final one, just 10 across the chest, like that. Just loosening off your pectorals. So guys, we're talking back muscles and back exercises. Okay, as I said right at the start, the back muscles are generally often an area where people's knowledge tends to be less developed, shall we say. So just going to take a second to talk through the muscles. So if you want to grab a drink quickly, then please do. I'm just going to switch on to a lovely little diagram. Okay, so you might want to get a little bit closer to the screen if you can't see this. So basically guys, the muscles that we're talking about here, and don't stress if you can't see it very well, I would love to credit the artist of this, but I actually can't remember where I've got this from. I did try and find it, so apologies to that person who created this. But basically guys, the muscles that we're mostly interested with in this session are the trapezius, the trap muscles, which extend down from the neck. They're sort of like that diamond shaped muscle that go down through the middle. It's in a kind of orangey colour on this image. And then you've got the lats, latissimus dorsi, which are kind of like the wing shaped muscles on the side. I think let's call that a purpley colour. This is where we discover that I'm colourblind. Yeah, so the lats, those are another set of muscles that we're going to be looking at this evening. And then, to be honest, there's loads of muscle groups as you can see here, but the other ones we're going to talk about are the rhomboids, and you can kind of see them just sort of tucked underneath the lats and traps in that kind of middle back area. It's not the pink, it's like a greyish purple. Not really important to be able to see it, but basically that's kind of sits underneath the trapezius muscle and underneath the lats a little bit. So yeah, that's what we're up to. So just quickly, just in case you don't actually find this interesting, the trapezius muscle, that diamond shaped muscle, so what they're involved with is well, it's one muscle, but it's got various depending on which section of fibers are innervated, it's got various purposes. So the upper section of that trapezius muscle, that diamond shaped muscle, elevates your shoulders. Okay, the middle section will retract your shoulders, retract your scapula, and adduct your straps. God, I can't talk today. Adduct your scapula, and then the lower fibers depress your shoulders. So actually, that one muscle or muscle group, it does three different things, and actually does basically opposing movements, which is very strange for a muscle. Normally you have opposing muscle groups, you have different sets of muscle groups to do opposing movements, but the traps, they will both elevate and depress the shoulder girdle, but usually they're very good at elevating, not so good at depressing, and that's because often comes down to our posture and the way we sit at our desks, etc. Now the lat, they also depress the shoulders. They also externally rotate your arm, they adduct, and yeah, as I say, rotate your arm and depress your shoulders. And they can also kind of bring your arms back down to your sides to kind of put it a little bit more simply. And then your rhomboids, those muscles that are tucked underneath your lats and your traps, they also help elevate your scapula and retract it, basically. So if I just come back to the live feed, basically what we're talking about here, guys, is the lats, probably the muscle group that you have heard of. So lat pull down, okay, they're depressing your shoulders, they're pulling my shoulders downwards, they're pulling my arms back to my side, okay. Your rhomboids, they retract, so you're doing this movement, that bent over the row, etc. They retract your shoulder girdle and your scapula. Your traps will elevate your shoulders. They'll also depress, and they'll also help with kind of retracting your shoulders, etc. Okay, so we've got those kind of three movements that we're focusing on: the shoulder depression, the retraction, and then the elevation. Okay, what we're really going to be focusing mostly on is depression and retraction, because generally speaking we don't need much help with the elevation, because a lot of the time we're sitting at our desk like this, or if you carry a rucksack, you're walking around with your little rucksack on with your shoulders up like that, I'm willing to guess. Okay, so we're mostly focusing on depression and retraction. Hopefully that wasn't too boring, and hopefully that just helps a little bit. It tends to be, in my opinion, in my experience, something that people don't tend to know. So guys, let's get into it then, shall we? So what we're going to do first is we're going to be using our resistance band, our long resistance band, for a couple of exercises. Now we're going to do two exercises that are focusing on the lats. The first one is a lat pull down, but band is anchored down at the floor. So what do? Well, it's very simple, guys. We simply bend a little bit at the knees, make sure that band, we're standing out, and that band is nice at attention. Okay, then we're just going to drop our chest to parallel to the floor, and basically, guys, make sure that your arm is level with your ear pretty much throughout. And then from here, what you want to do is bring your hand to your shoulder, and so as you can see, that's retracting my shoulder away from my ear at the same time. Okay, and it's getting in to those lats, which are these wing shaped muscles on the side here. Okay, so we're going to do 15 of these on either side. So bend the knees, drop the chest, arms should be level with your ear, and here we go, 15 on each side. 1, 2, trying to keep your knuckles facing the sky. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, I'll make sure your arm is up to level with your ear. Draw your hand into your shoulder for 1. Knuckles up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, nearly there then, 14, and 15. Okay, so just bring your head back up so you can just get some blood back to your brain. Okay, just take a second, and then we're going straight back to that position. But this time, guys, instead of pulling towards our shoulder, we're going to keep our arms straight. Okay, so this time, what you're going to do is think about drawing your hand to your shin, like that. Okay, so we're doing what's called a straight arm pull down. So this is really good for that swimming motion, okay? Building strength in the same area. Now, your muscles are super specific, so it's not going to improve your swimming as such, but it is going to recruit more muscle fibers to that area, which then you should hopefully be able to kind of then train into swimming. Won't go into specificity principle now, but basically it's good for swimming. Okay, so your arm is straight, still back up to the level with the ears, and then we're just going to draw our hands straight down to our shin as best we can. For 1, doing 15 again. 2, don't worry if you can't get all the way to your shin. My band I've chosen is probably a bit too heavy. 3,
Or you can bend your elbows slightly, just take some of the tension out the joint. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, stopping onto the other side. So chest parallel to the ground, arm up to ear level, and then we draw the hand to the shin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we've got 5 more of these. Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, good. Right, you can put the band down for a second now. So basically, guys, 2 exercises that you should try and remember, mainly because for what they do. Drawing those shoulders away from the ears. Those are your lats. Those are your lower traps as well. Drawing those, we're drawing those hands to your side, or perhaps if you're doing it this way as well. Just think about bringing your arms to your side. That's your lats as well, that wing-shaped muscle. And I think if you see the shape of the muscle, that kind of makes sense. Those kind of angel wings, kind of bringing, like you're a bird, bringing your hands back down to your side. So those are the lats. Those are 2 exercises that we use regularly with our athletes. Next we go into scapular retraction, so that rowing. So think of it as basically any exercise where you're kind of in a rowing action. That's going to use your rhomboids and your lats as well, and you're retracting your scapula. So your scapula basically, guys, is a kind of a plate of bone, like a triangle shape. You have one on either side of your back, and it kind of floats around your back, and then is kept stable by different muscles. Okay, and we're working on retracting that, or thinking of it sticking out your chest. Okay, so guys, grabbing we want probably a medium weight now. You can go a little bit heavier. This is a muscle exercise that recruits kind of big muscle groups. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your weights with your knuckles facing forwards. You can do it without the weight. Just bend your knees ever so slightly, and then you're pivoting at the hips so that your chest is parallel to the ground. Now it's important, guys, that you keep your chest parallel to the ground. All right. So as you're rowing, what it tends to happen is people start to ratchet up, which actually wouldn't be terrible, because when you're doing it at about a 30-degree angle, it's going to get into your lower traps more, which isn't terrible. It's just another exercise. Okay. So, but what we want to do, because we want to hit those rhomboids and those lats as much as possible, we want to keep our chest parallel to the floor. And then what you're doing when you're here is just try not to allow your shoulders to round like that. Always keep them in neutral. So I'll just demonstrate that again. That's a rounded shoulder. A neutral shoulder just means it's basically sitting in the shoulder joint. And then you're rowing in kind of towards your hip, or rowing into your stomach, not rowing into your chest, okay? Because what happens is, you can see if I just come up, when you're rowing into your chest, your shoulders start to elevate, and that's your upper traps getting involved. And we don't want these muscles really that involved, because we use them all day long. We want to get them disactivated and want those shoulders down. So when we're rowing into the hip, shoulders stay down. Okay, right. So let's grab our weights then. Start with them down by our ankles. Remember, shoulders in neutral, and we're going in past our stomach, past our hip for 1, 2, 3. Keep that chest down. Remember, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be feeling this right in the middle of your back. 9, 10. 5 more. 11, 12. Chest parallel. 13, 14, 15. Okay, good. So that's the retraction type exercise. We've got one more which is similar. Okay, you're going to need a lighter weight for this one. So these are called reverse flies. Okay, so guys, if you remember during the chest session, we were doing the dumbbell flies, where we were drawing the weights out in an arc. Okay, we're basically doing that exercise, but in kind of reverse. Okay, so what you're doing, you're going back into that bent over position, 15-degree bend in the elbows so you're not putting too much stress to the joint, and the arms are going out in an arc. So it's basically the opposite exercise to when you were doing it on your back and it was hitting your chest. This time it's retracting your shoulders and your scapula, but just in a slightly different way. Okay, so similar muscles, but you're just hitting them in a different way. Okay, so let's get into the position. So about 15-degree bend in the elbows, chest is parallel to the floor, and we're just moving in this plane in front of your stomach. Okay, again, not bringing the weights in front of your face or your chest, moving in front of your stomach. Okay, here we go for 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 more, keep that chest parallel to the floor, 13, 14, final one, 15, good stuff. Okay, so that's your scapular retraction and your shoulder retraction. Okay, using those rhomboids and lats predominantly. Okay, great. So now we're going to get into your lower traps. So remember, lower traps are the ones that bring your shoulders down. Now, generally speaking, they're quite hard to activate. Okay, that's because we're usually very dominant in our upper traps and keeping our shoulders elevated. So we're working on trying to keep them depressed. So we do 2 exercises back to back. First one is a Y raise. Okay, we've done this exercise numerous times, but what it's doing really is it's forcing your back to stabilize the base of your scapula as you draw your arms out. Okay, so it's really kind of getting into that lower traps. And you think about levers, you see where these on, I raise my arm up like that, you can see where this is going into, and you can see where the force is going to travel down my back into kind of like the lower center of my back. That's where you should be starting to feel this exercise. So show you about weight. So you get back into that bent over position. You can put your hands forwards in front of you, fully extended, hands together, and then you're going to turn your thumbs out into a V shape, and then basically your hands travel in that V shaped direction or Y shape. So you're going up to about there. Don't worry about kind of going really high, because then you start to rock and it just should be really nice and controlled. So you want a pretty light weight for this. Okay, so you start with the weights together, palms together, then you're turning them into a V shape and you're going out in that direction. Now guys, one final thing. With each rep, every time you come back to this position, I want you to think about drawing your shoulders away from your ears. So resetting each time before you go. Here we go for 15. Okay, so to there, come back, reset, make sure the shoulders away from the ears. 2, reset, 3, keep that chest parallel to the floor. 4, 5, 6, reset each time. 7, 8, 9, 10. You should start to feel it pinching into your lower to mid back. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, good. Just come back up. Redistribute blood. Clear your head a little bit. And now what we're going to do, guys, is you'll grab your medium weights again, probably, for this one. What you're going to do, you're going to start with your knuckles facing forwards. And you're just going to allow the weight to draw you down to about knee height. Okay, and then from here, guys, what you're going to do is retract your shoulders. Pull your shoulders up and back. So not towards your ears like that, up and back. Okay, it's quite a small exercise. You're just shrugging, basically. Okay, we're going to do another 15 of these. So lower the weights down to your knees, and then we're shrugging up and back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Don't worry guys, if on that one, you start to lose all feeling in your back. So you'll notice that one, we're retracting the shoulders a little bit as well. So you're getting a bit of help from your lats and your rhomboids on that one. Okay, but those Y raises and those shrugs, those bent over shrugs, they're going to help to get into that base of your back muscles, into those lower traps, and help keep your shoulders down. Particularly important if you're a cyclist and you do a lot of time trialing, you're on the aero bars a lot, and you're in a sort of shrugged position quite a lot. Really, when you're in the time trial position, if you're doing a short time trial, you actually want to shrug and get as narrow as possible. But for triathletes, for instance, you really want to be as relaxed as possible and have those shoulders away from the ears. So when you're on the aero bars next, I want you to think about pulling your shoulders away from your ears, and that is going to be using those lower traps. Right then guys, okay, so we've got our next, we've got a core exercise. So we're going to do an exercise that we do a lot, mainly because it's one of the few kind of core exercises that really kind of get into your lower back. All right, so we're going to start down onto our fronts. Don't know why I'm putting this on, I just need the timer. All right, so you lie down, called Superman's. Okay, so we're going to start off by doing 15 raises. So your arms out in front of you, and all you're going to do is lift your legs and your arms off the ground like so. Slowly lower back down. You do that 15 times, and then on the 15th one, I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to hold for 60 seconds. Okay, this is going to be challenging. Let's give it a go. If you have to take a little micro rest, then that's absolutely fine. But just keep going for the full 60 seconds. Okay, so let's get ready to go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so raising up for 1. Slowly back down. 2. Don't rush it. You'll feel this pinching into your lower back. 3. And as you're raising your arms, you're also feeling getting into your lats. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. Really stretch out those arms, point those toes behind you. 12. 13. 14. Okay, let's get ready on this final one. I'm going to hold. 15. Okay, timer has started. And you're looking to hold, guys. Those arms. Oh, regretting swimming this morning now. Woohoo! That's 15 seconds down. Remember to breathe. I can assure you this is a lot harder when you're trying to talk at the same time. Probably should just be quiet once. Okay, coming up to 30 seconds. There we are, halfway. Make sure your legs are off the ground. You want kind of like most of your quad off the ground, most of your thigh off the ground. Okay. So point those toes is going to help keep your legs nice and solid. 20 seconds to go. You're near there. Keep you going. Okay, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Well done. Okay. So there we are, guys. That's our circuit. So we've gone through all the detail. So hopefully you picked up a little bit on that. But now what we're going to do, we're going to rifle through all those exercises one after the other and get through it pretty quickly. Okay, so have a quick swig of water. Get ready to go. So starting off with that resistance band first, remember? Hitting those lat exercises. We've got the pull down first. The lat pull down, then the straight arm pull down. Okay. Good, yeah, we've got some very keen beans. Awesome. Okay. So remember, bending the knees, dropping that chest to parallel to the ground. Just shift out until the band is properly at tension. First exercise, drawing the hand to the shoulder with our knuckles up. Here we go. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Good, swap hands. Here we go on the other side. Drawing into your shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Then we've got the straight arm pull down. So just come back up to the top. Okay. We spend too long with your chest parallel to the floor, you're gonna get dizzy and potentially face plant. Can't. No one there to scrape you off the floor. Okay. So back down we go. Arm straight. Drawing our hand down to our shin this time. Here we go. 1. Just going as far as you can. Don't worry if you've got too heavy a band like I do. 2. Just do your best. 3. Just try and hold it at the base of the movement. 4. 5. So try not to let the band kind of ping you back up. 6. Make sure it's all nice and controlled. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, 5 more. 1. Control it. 2. 3. 4. Last 1. 5. Oh, that was getting tired there. Okay, let's straight on to the other side then. 1. 2. 3. Keep that chest parallel to the floor. 4. 5. 6. 7. Keep going, guys. 8. Nearly there. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. And 15. Oh, God, those ones are over. I was struggling. Okay, now we've got the retraction exercises. So your medium weight or your heavier weight, if you've got one, just take a second, just upright yourself. There we go. Back down, so slight bend of the knees, tipping over the hips so your chest is parallel to the floor. Okay, make sure you're not rounding your shoulders, keep them neutral. Grabbing your weights to sort of level your shins, knuckles facing forwards, chest parallel, remember. And here we go, 15. Rowing in past your stomach, past your hips. 1, 2, 3. Keep those shoulders away from your ears. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And we're on to our reverse flies. So back into that position. You probably want a lighter weight for this one. Arms down in front of you, 15-degree bend in the elbow. And we go out for 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't know about you. Oh, I'm starting to get tired on these. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 11, 12, 13, 14. Last one. And 15. Okay, good. Okay, we've just got the wire raises, the bent over shrugs, and then Supermans, and then we're done. So really lightweight for the wire raises. Just give yourself second upright. Okay, catch your breath back. Right, here we go, guys. We're nearly done. Stopping the knees, tip over the hips again. Weights down in front of you. Okay, bring the weights together, turn them out into a V. Retract, draw the shoulders away from your ears, remember. Routine each one. Here we go. 1. Keep that chest parallel. 2, 3. Remember, retract, draw the shoulders down. 4, between each one, reset. 5, reset for 6. 7. Make sure that chest is parallel. 8. Okay, we're over halfway now. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 2 more. Come on, guys. 14. And 15. Okay. We're really close now, guys. Really close. So you want probably heavier weights again. Knuckles forwards in front of your thighs. Your feet about shoulder width apart. And then just go lower down until the weights are in front of your knees. Keeping your arms straight. Your arms don't bend or do anything really. We're then shrugging our shoulders away from our ears. Up and back for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, nearly there, 13, 14, and 15. Woo! Wow, we were. Okay, now we've just got the Supermans and hold to do. That's us done, guys. I imagine you're back. I think unfortunately this is going to be one of these sessions where you're going to feel this tomorrow, particularly the lat stuff. What I find with lat exercises, you know, when you're doing pull-ups and lat pull-downs and things like that, it's the day after that you feel it in those areas. They tend to just go numb when you're doing them, and then the day after you're just sort of can't lift your arms, etc. Okay, so down onto the floor we go. Arms outstretched in front of you, doing 15 raises, and then on the 15th one we're going to hold for 60 seconds again. Final exercise of the session. Stay focused. Let's do this then. Here we go. For 1, and slowly down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, over halfway, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 2 more, 14. Okay, on this last one we're going to hold. Ready? Let's go then, guys. Number 15, let's hold for 60 seconds. Stretch those arms out in front of you. Lift those legs off the ground. Most of your quad, most of your thighs should be off the ground. And we hold. And we embrace the pain. Okay, that's 15 seconds already. Try and relax into it. Remember to breathe. We're approaching halfway. If you point your toes behind you, it does help keep your legs nice and solid. It helps keep them off the ground. 25 seconds. Stay strong. All the way to the end. 20 seconds. 15. 10. 9. 8. 7. All the way to the end. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And down. Whew. Okay. Well done, guys. Okay, so that, my friends, is the end of session 4. Just a quick little recap of what we talked about. So I won't show you the diagram, don't worry. Basically, guys, the key muscle groups we've worked there, really, amongst others, I have to emphasize, primarily though, the lats. Okay, used for depressing your shoulders, drawing your arms back to your sides. Okay, so that's your lats, your traps. Okay, they elevate your shoulders, they depress, and they do a little bit of retraction as well. But really, we want our traps to be doing mostly depression and retraction, because I can pretty much guarantee you do enough elevation throughout the course of your day. Okay, and then the rhomboids are those kind of deeper lying muscles, predominantly used for kind of retraction, and then also sort of moving your shoulder around in the joint. Won't make it any more complicated than that. But there you go, guys. Okay, so that's our back focus. So hopefully just by doing those exercises, it will give you an idea whenever you do something like that. So pull down, pull-ups. Okay, that's basically a lat pull down. So you might be going towards the weight rather than the handle coming towards you, but it's the same damn exercise. It's just a hell of a lot harder. Okay, so hopefully you'll just know you do any of those types of movements again, regardless of the variety. Hopefully you will know what sort of muscles you should be hitting, or where you should be hitting them. I think kind of one other key takeaway is whenever you're doing any kind of retraction stuff or the Y raises, etc., you really want to make sure your shoulders are drawn down from your ears, otherwise your upper traps are engaged doing a lot of the work and we don't want them involved. So hopefully that all made sense. I'll stick around if anyone's got any questions. Always very happy to answer them, assuming I can. But otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it, and I'll bid you adieu. If anyone's got anything they want to ask. No worries, guys. No worries. Anyone got anything they're unsure about or want to ask about? No? Okay, cool, guys. Well, have yourselves a lovely evening, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. No worries, mate. Take care.